If you're a fan of Nintendo, you might be interested to know that the company has a long and storied history, and it hasn't always been smooth sailing. Nintendo did not achieve immediate success upon its establishment and faced numerous crises throughout its history. What did Nintendo do before stepping into the game industry? At what point did Nintendo achieve global domination? Let's go back to 1966 when Hiroshi Yamauchi had been in charge of Nintendo for 17 years. The company had been a family business, managed by his grandfather and great-grandfather before him. Under Hiroshi Yamauchi's leadership, Nintendo became an industry leader in the production of playing cards, including Japanese traditional Hanafuda playing cards and European and American playing cards. However, during a trip to Cincinnati, United States, where he visited the largest playing card manufacturer in the world, the United States Playing Card Company, USPCC, he realized that despite being the world's largest playing card manufacturer, USPCC's office and factory were small compared to other successful businesses. As a result, Hiroshi Yamauchi realized that the playing card market was limited, even though they were the top playing card manufacturer in Japan, and they were unable to generate significant profits. After returning to Japan, Hiroshi Yamauchi attempted to invest in other businesses such as the taxi industry, clock hotels, and instant food, but these ventures failed to turn a profit, and they found themselves on the brink of bankruptcy. During this critical time for his company, Hiroshi Yamauchi met a young man named Gunpei Yokoi, who had just graduated from university and was working at Nintendo. This encounter changed the fate of Nintendo forever. Like and subscribe. Gunpei Yokoi was born in Kyoto and graduated from the Department of Electronic Engineering at the renowned Kansai University, Doshisha University. Although he had mediocre grades in college, he had a unique characteristic of enjoying creating things to play with. Whenever he had free time, he would use his ideas to invent new gadgets. In university, he was known as a genius inventor among his peers. 1 year before his graduation, students in his faculty were required to gain work experience in various large companies, and he chose the small company, Nintendo, at the time. Gunpei Yokoi worked as an equipment maintenance worker at Nintendo but used his free time to create toys for his own amusement. One day, while inspecting the factory, President Hiroshi Yamauchi noticed Yokoi using an engraving machine to make a wooden hand with retractable springs, which he had made for his own entertainment during break time. Impressed by Yokoi's talent, Hiroshi Yamauchi called him to his office and asked him to create a new toy based on the wooden hand idea before the Christmas shopping season. Yokoi delivered, quickly modifying the idea and creating the Ultra Hand, which proved to be a huge success, selling 1.2 million units within 6 months. This success laid the foundation for Nintendo's entry into the toy industry and the establishment of its games department, with Yokoi leading the way in inventing new toys. Despite Nintendo's success, the world situation changed rapidly, and the Yom Kippur War in the Middle East led to the first oil crisis, affecting the global economy, including Japan's, causing a GDP drop of 7% or more. As one of the biggest toy enterprises, Nintendo faced a significant impact, as people were less likely to buy toys during an economic downturn. This crisis was different from the previous one, as it was a worldwide event. So the solution was to focus on the global market. During this time, the largest capital market in the world was the United States. And the most popular thing there was a game called Pong, which was created by the famous US game manufacturer, Atari. Pong was the world's first arcade game, and it revolutionized the gaming industry, leading to the development of a new industry, the video game industry, and setting a new entertainment trend in the US. Hiroshi Yamauchi saw the potential in this idea and partnered with another US game manufacturer, Magnavox, to sell their video game console, the Magnavox Odyssey. He also hired a few engineers from Sharp to establish Nintendo and develop the second console, the Color TV game series, to sell in Japan. This console was the first home video game console invented by Nintendo, and the entire series sold a total of 3 million units, marking a breakthrough for the company. However, the Color TV game series alone was not enough to solve Nintendo's problems. The company was facing debt pressures, and the trend in the overseas video game industry indicated that it might replace the toy industry. Nintendo needed to catch up with this trend, or they would face significant problems. Once again, Nintendo's future was uncertain. But just as 10 years ago, a young man would change the fate of Nintendo once again. This man was none other than Gunpei Yokoi, who had become the director of Nintendo's development department. One day, while riding the Shinkansen, he noticed a businessman playing with an LCD calculator, which gave him an idea. He wondered if he could invent a game that everyone could play anywhere to pass the time. And he knew that many people would want to buy it. During a drive to a business meeting with Sharp, Gunpei Yokoi proposed an idea to Hiroshi Yamauchi about inventing a game that people could play anywhere. Hiroshi Yamauchi did not reply at the time, but he later discussed the idea with the president of Sharp, Asahi Saki. Yokoi was then invited to attend a joint meeting between Nintendo and Sharp. At the meeting, Hiroshi Yamauchi allowed Yokoi to develop his idea, which eventually led to the invention of the Game & Watch, a handheld electronic game console that combined an LCD video game with a digital dial. The Game & Watch was a major technological breakthrough for Nintendo and sold nearly 60 million units globally in 1980, allowing the company to pay off all debts and establish a foundation in the video games market. That same year, Nintendo entered the North American games market and established branches in the prosperous city of New York, focusing on light gun-type arcade games. However, they faced ups and downs, and their biggest problem was with the arcade game, Radar Scope, which could not sell well. They had built 3,000 units but only managed to sell 1,000. This left 2,000 units in Nintendo's American warehouse, and if they could not sell them, the North American branches might have to be closed down. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll delve further into the fascinating story of Nintendo.